comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it in the background, but there's a fucking storm brewing in India. It's just lightning and fucking thunder at the moment. Storms in India are fucking ominous. It sort of sounds like the gods are saying the earth needs a cleansing. And that's what can happen in a storm in India. You can get fucking cleansed. And I don't mean that in the reborn, baptized way. I mean that in the 22,000 dead, 16 straight days of rain way. It's just rolling thunder at the moment. It's been like maybe 15 minutes of constant thunder. Not crackling thunder, just slow rolling, everyone's gonna die thunder. I'll try and get up to the window, see if you can fucking hear it. You're probably not going to be able to hear that, but it hasn't fucking stopped. But when there's rain, at least the people will stay inside. Not all of them, but more than normal. A good flooding will keep people off the streets. Imagine that, throw in some flooding with some COVID-19. My wife's dad was telling me today, through our translator, my wife, but he was saying bodies are starting to turn up all the way down the Ganga. Because the people who've been dying, they've just been throwing their bodies into the water. So all the way down the Ganga now, dead bodies are just landing on shore, just turning up in fucking small towns and villages. That is another concern, isn't it? Dead bodies turning up in villages drinking water. That can't be a good thing. I would say that is going to be a little bit of a health problem in itself. What are you meant to do if you live in a small little village and dead bodies just start turning up on the banks of the river? The only thing you really can do is just kick the fucking bodies back into the water and let the fucking village down the stream worry about it. And maybe don't drink that water for a little while. I'm not too sure where the Ganga flows out to either, but it's going to get pretty fucking busy through there. I wish you could hear this fucking thunder. It's just been 30 or 40 minutes of just a grumbling, like the gods are real fucking angry. If it really starts coming down, I'm going on the roof like Lieutenant Dan. I'm going to have a few words to these gods. And that will be the perfect introduction to this week's Boyle Breaks History. This week's topic is another topic that's very close to my heart. I'm in India. India is a very religious place. You've got the Hindus, you've got the Buddhists, you've got the Christians, you've got the Muslims, you've got the Jains, you've got the Sikhs. There's fucking everything here. I think there's a couple of fucking Jews floating around. I repeat, a couple of fucking Jews floating around. So this week's Boyle Breaks History, I'm going to do the history of religions. I'm going to do the timeline from the oldest religion to the newest. Well, not the newest. I'm not doing fucking Scientology and shit like that. You've got to be in the top fucking maybe like 6 or 7 religions to get in here. I'm not doing Scientology. I'm not doing Mormonism. You've got to be a top 6. No one gives a fuck about the top 100. Who is the number 58 tennis player in the world? No one knows. No one cares. People only give a fuck about Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and the other cunts, another 4 cunts that no one cares about. So let's get started. The oldest religion on earth is, and if you're a fucking sun worshipper, shut the fuck up. No one cares about Ra, except for Ra. We're not going that far back. We're not going ancient Egypt and shit. We are going 3,000 years before Christ, which is Hinduism. Hinduism is the oldest fucking religion around at the moment. 3,000 years before Christ. So it's been around for 5,000 years. So there has been people walking around with dots on their foreheads for 5,000 fucking years. That's a lot of dots. Then about 1,000 years after that, Abraham was born. And 700 years after that, Moses was born. But they didn't do shit for years. Nothing happened with those 2 Jews till way later on. So the next oldest religion, in 600 BC, there was a dude born called Zoroaster. Z-O-Roaster. And he was an Iranian prophet. And he started a religion called Zoroastrianism, or whatever the fuck it's called. I wonder where he got that name from. Zoroastrianism. And there's only like 120,000 Zoroasters left. They're in Iran, India and North America, prominently in North America as well. I don't know how the fuck they got over there. So Zoroastrianism is the second oldest continuous religion in the world. Put that in your notes and bring it up at the strip club next time you're gacked out of your mind. So after Zoroastrianism, there was a little period for about 50 years where some big players were born. Some fucking big dogs. So from 599 BC to 551 BC, a guy named Mahavira was born. He created Jainism. Fucking Siddhartha Gautama was born. The Buddha was born. And in 551 BC, Confucius was born. Oh, Confucius says COVID-19, no good. So those three mad dogs were all born at the same time. Even Zoroaster was only like 30 years before them. And also Lao Tzu was only born 50 years later as well. So it was 100 years of some big players being born. The world must have been so fucked back then. The aliens running the shit in the background here must have been like, fuck, send the big dogs in, otherwise they're going to kill each other into extinction. So those big players were sent down, and Jainism was created in 527 BC, and then Buddhism only 7 years later, 520 BC, and then Judaism fucking came in at 500 BC. The Jews snuck in for no particular reason. Just out of nowhere, the Jews slide in between Buddhism and Confucianism. I mean, this is 1500 years after Abraham was born, the Jews pop up. I reckon they were being Jews in secret, and then they saw Buddhism pop up, Jainism, Confucianism, and the Jews were like, we better take this shit mainstream. That sounds like a real Jewy thing to do, really, doesn't it? So the Jews popped up at 500 BC and Confucianism at 425 BC, so 75 years after Jews. And then it was pretty quiet for about 400 years because they sent down some big bangers. There was a bit of peace going on, but shit started to get wild, and then fucking JC was born. Jesus Christ was sent down in 6 BC. Yep, Jesus Christ was born 6 years before he was born. That's how much of a mad dog he is. That is how accurate the information I've been Googling is. Jesus Christ was born 6 years before he was even born. Anyway, it wasn't like fucking Jesus was born and then Christianity was invented. It was invented later down the road. It says 30 years down the road on this, but I don't know if I can trust any of this information anymore. So Christianity was the next one to come in, and then it was Taoism in year 142. I don't even know what Taoism is, but it's showing me the yin and yang sign, so it must be a peaceful fucking religion. Then in 571, that's almost 600 years after Jesus was born, Muhammad was born. And then it took Muhammad 40 years to get his shit together, and he created Islam in 611. Then there wasn't a lot of religions created for a long time, mainly because the Christians and the Muzzies were just killing everyone that tried to create new religions. You're dead if you create a new religion. Anyway, the next one to come along was the birth of Guru Nanak. And Guru Nanak in 1499 created Sikhism. And the Sikhs are the Indian dudes who wear the turbans. You know the ones? They're the Indians that get bashed because people mistake them for Muslims. You know the ones. And then the last one on this list is the Baha'i faith. It's another pretty much Iranian faith. And the only reason I'm throwing it in there is because I know a few Baha'is. And that was created by a guy named Baha'u'llah. And he was a prophet as well. He had nothing to do with like Muslims or anything like that. He was a prophet to himself. And in Iran, the Baha'i get persecuted hardcore. So that's it. I would say that pretty much covers all you need to know, but there might be a latecomer on that list in the next maybe 10, 15 years. Boyleism, a very concerning religion. Anyway, that is it for Boyle Breaks History this week. That's it for tonight, and I'll see you the fuck later.